This map looks wild from a standpoint.
Got Omni movement underneath their belt a little bit faster. You'll notice that there is a bit of that buttery slide movement that I was about to say. Like, we're used to seeing it from just...
Well, Herman Miller Gaming is proud to be utilizing other perks classes to counter a player like this that you can, just literally flying around the map.
Well, we got a little bit of a comeback effort here from Amir's team. Up and over, another look at how you can utilize the movement to break cameras and give yourself an advantage in a gunfight you might not expect.
How are you finding Black Ops 7 so far? Are you loving it?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, and what in the world did I just watch? The multiplayer reveal for Black Ops 7 just wrapped up, and that introduction right there pretty much summarized the entire thing. Double jumping, wall running, cracked out movements, special gaming chairs, broken camera angles. Dude, Black Ops 7 is basically if 4 Loco was a video game, and I'm talking about the original stuff back before they had to nerf it. I've never witnessed a multiplayer reveal that did so little to promote the actual game itself. If anything, I feel like people are going to want to play Black Ops 7 even less after watching Call of Duty Next. I do actually appreciate the footage here though, because it's real, it's authentic, it's an exact representation of what Call of Duty has been like for the past couple of years. I feel like a lot of people write off this kind of stuff because it's a reveal event, right? And it's full of YouTubers and live streamers and pro players, so obviously everybody's going to be trying as hard as they can and sweating until their balls ache, but this is exactly what Call of Duty always looks like now. It doesn't matter if it's a multi-million-dollar reveal event full of literal professional players, or if it's 5:30 in the afternoon on a Thursday, the lobbies look the exact same. Everybody plays the exact same. In their marketing, Treyarch did try to tell us that the maps were going to be a bit more medium-sized and that there would be more breathing room between gunfights and that the game would be a bit better paced than a game like Black Ops 6, but I'm really not seeing it. Are you guys seeing it? Like, the maps themselves, I will say, do look good from a visual standpoint. They are varied and they do have color. They aren't all just sandy desert copy and paste Avalon POIs like in Black Ops 6, but the tempo and the pacing of the gameplay is much faster than Black Ops 6. I would say the game looks more akin to something like Advanced Warfare, and mind you, this is only 1 hour into people actually being able to experience the multiplayer. We have double jumping 20 feet in the air, gliding over rooms, glitching out the entire COD engine with their slide mechanics, and this is all early. Just imagine what it's going to be like on day 1 of the beta, day 2, day 3, the freaking launch. I can't imagine what the launch of Black Ops 7 is going to look like once people get used to the double jump mechanic and they get used to all the multiplayer maps. It's quite literally going to be Advanced Warfare 2.0, but with a Black Ops 6 coat of paint. And speaking of Black Ops 6, we have to talk about the similarities because they are so glaring that honestly had me distracted while watching the entire reveal event. To call Black Ops 7 a reskin would honestly feel like an understatement. The new maps are one thing, the movement is another, but the similarities between this game and last year's game are honestly uncanny. Everything from the menus to the kill cams, the scoreboard, the overlays, the player cards, they are all so incredibly similar that I found myself paying more attention to that during the presentation than to whatever the announcers were actually talking about. I think that's going to be a common theme when it comes to Black Ops 7 as more and more people see footage of it and as more people get their hands on the game via the beta. I talked about a ton in my last video, but virtually everything in this game could have just been an update to Black Ops 6. The only features that are actually new are the movement, and then of course the new maps that are designed around that movement. The reception to the reveal has been completely underwhelming as well. Over on Twitch, the chat was barely moving, and a lot of the time people were just talking about Battlefield or talking about how the game looks too fast-paced and how the movement looks too quick and how the time to kill looks too quick. But over on YouTube, guys, holy hell, this was a whole different story. I wish I was making this up here, but Activision literally botted their own chat, so no actual reactions or feedback could be seen. You may think I'm joking, but look at it here, man. I have the entire thing recorded. The entire chat is just Arabic and copy and pasted emoji spam and nothing more. You might see an actual message maybe every couple of minutes, and this wasn't just for a little bit either. It went on for hours. As I'm recording this video right now, the presentation is still going on. They're talking about Warzone right now, and I don't give a shit about Warzone, so I'm not watching that. I think they're talking about the new Resurgence map, which is basically going to be an expansion of the Liberty Falls Zombies map, and in there, literally the exact same thing is happening, and look at this right here. What looks like it might be a real person is saying, "At Anime Rush, you got me dying laughing with that comment," but there's nobody named Anime Rush in the entire chat. I looked, I scrolled, here's this dude, "I love you, Activision." Like, holy shit, guys. They actually botted their entire YouTube chat, so it looks like people are happy, or at the very least, it looks like people are interested, right? It's giving off that illusion. What an absolute scumbag move by Activision. They can't get by on the merit of their own reveal or their own presentation, but rather they have to control the narrative when it comes to the community's immediate response on YouTube. It's just so freaking scummy. The likes and dislikes are also very interesting because at this very moment, it has 12,000 likes to 5.3 thousand dislikes, so twice as many likes right now, right? But normally, on every other trailer, every other presentation, everything, it's been the exact opposite. That's a little bit weird, right? I don't think it's because people saw this reveal and they saw players flying over the map and everyone dying in one bullet and everything and thinking it's amazing. I think what's happening is it's literally a case of these botted accounts dropping likes. I mean, the live stream only has like 13,000 quote-unquote people watching it right now, yet at some point it got 12,000 likes. Admittedly, the stream did have more viewers early on. That's likely where a lot of these ratings came from, but still, the numbers here are simply not numbering. Getting back to the multiplayer reveals here for a moment, we knew pretty much everything about the multiplayer going into this, so all this really does is show us gameplay, but I will say once again right now that the maps do look much better than before. There are a couple of boring ones, but in general, there's a lot of color, there's a lot of moving parts, lots of animations happening on the map, even dynamic elements happening on the map. It is a stark contrast compared to the Avalon rehashes that we saw throughout the entirety of Black Ops 6. I think that's one of the few things that the game has going for it, because when I look at the guns, when I look at the time to kill, when I look at the HUD and the XP numbers and the calling cards and the scoreboard, it's all just very much Black Ops 6, you know? Like, the only real difference here is they changed the font. Like, they took the exact same system and UI from the previous game, changed the font, and they called it good. This is yet another example of why they should never, ever again release back-to-back games within the same series. Another thing that looks good to me are the mastery camos. In total, there are 16 of them because there's gonna be mastery camos for campaign, multiplayer, zombies, and Warzone. Though if I'm being entirely honest, that's pretty much it for me. Like, the maps look like an improvement, the camos look solid, but other than that, it feels like a full-on DLC to Black Ops 6 that is somehow going to play even worse thanks to the cracked out movement, which will only be exacerbated by the skill-based matchmaking algorithms. We all know that Zombies is going to be getting a classic mode, right? So already I'm seeing people after watching this reveal saying they want a classic mode for the Black Ops 7 multiplayer with no omni movement and none of that stuff, but frankly, I don't think it would work. We had a similar situation back in Advanced Warfare. A lot of people didn't like the exosuits, right? They wanted a classic mode, and eventually they got one, but the problem back then was all the maps were designed from the ground up to work with the movement, right? Everything from lines of sight to entire lanes, power positions, objective points, building entrances, everything was designed around the movement, and the same thing is true here within Black Ops 7. The only way we could get a proper classic mode for the multiplayer would be if they only featured remastered maps from Black Ops 2, but at that point, why are we even playing a new game? If you have to strip away all the new quote-unquote selling points for the game to make it playable, then what is the point of playing that game in the first place? I mean, for crying out loud, the only part of the entire COD NEXT presentation that was actually good was the robot dog bringing T-Dog a hot and ready during an ad spot. Like, that was it. That was the highlight of the entirety of COD NEXT for me personally. There was some good stuff in Zombies and even Warzone, if you can believe it or not, because apparently there's going to be a Blackout-inspired game mode coming to Warzone in 2026, and presumably, they haven't mentioned too much about it, but presumably we see the wingsuits there, and I imagine there's gonna be no respawns. I imagine there's gonna be no loadouts. Maybe you have to find your weapons, then your attachments and your perks, like basically having all the same gameplay systems as Blackout from back in the day. That sounds good to me. You guys know I love Blackout. I have like a dozen videos talking about how good it is, especially compared to Warzone, but that's pretty much it, man. Like, even if you are a Warzone fan, they already announced you have to wait until springtime before they will finally release Avalon. Like, why do they keep delaying that map more and more? It really just doesn't make any sense, but when it comes to multiplayer, it basically looks like Advanced Warfare on some pretty maps with a Black Ops 6 coat of paint. Now, despite the lackluster multiplayer reveal, we all know that COD fans are still going to try the game for themselves. If you have Xbox Game Pass, you can play the early part of the beta without paying anything, and then the open section of the beta will start for everybody else on October 5th. They did say the game can be preloaded starting tomorrow on October 1st, so I guess we're just going to have to wait and see. Like I talked about at the very top of the video, the style of play that we saw at COD NEXT will be the exact same style of play that we see in the beta. In fact, I say it every single year. I said it last year, I said it the year before, but I actually hate Call Call of Duty betas. They are always so miserable anymore, you know. Back when they used to be pretty fun, but now it's always worse than the actual launch of the game because we have a limited build. Everybody in there is like a super fan, and for some reason they always crank up skill-based matchmaking to infinity every single time as they run their secret engagement tests on the community. We are just guinea pigs to these guys anymore, and as I do every year, I'm still going to put myself through the ringer and record at least some of the beta. I don't plan on playing the entire thing, but I'm going to record at least some of the beta and do some reviews, give you guys some impressions and everything, but honestly, I'm not expecting much. I would love to be wrong. I would love for Call of Duty to actually be back, but I just don't think it is, and I don't think I'm wrong here. I think it's going to be exactly like what I called months ago, which is the game is going to feel like Black Ops 6, but feel even worse thanks to the cracked out advanced movement. It always comes back to those 4 little letters there, that one system that ruins the entire multiplayer experience for everybody, and while they have made a ton of changes based on community feedback, most of those changes could have just simply been in Black Ops 6, and matchmaking is still the one bit of feedback that they will always and forever continue to ignore. When it comes to Call of Duty Next as a whole, like the entire presentation, my overall review, my thoughts, my impressions of it are basically it's exactly like Black Ops 6, just like the actual game is, you know, and what I mean by that is the zombies looks great, the multiplayer looks horrendous, and Warzone, well, that's Warzone. You either love it or you hate it. And on that note, I'm curious to hear what you guys thought about the Black Ops 7 multiplayer reveal down there in the comments. I'm definitely interested to hear what you guys think. So for right now, I'm going to wrap this video up here today. I hope you guys all enjoyed it. Be sure to sub to the channel if you're new around here. Thank you all so much for listening. And until next time, I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.